Welcome back to Inside Story. Continuing instability in Somalia has led to the flourishing of piracy off Somali shores. But it's turned the area into one of the world's most dangerous naval routes. On Sunday, pirates seized a Saudi supertanker with $100 million worth of oil on board, with no one and nothing to protect it through the treacherous Gulf of Aden. Well, dozens of ships have been taken hostage. Not too long ago in September, a Ukrainian ship carrying Russian tanks was seized off the coast of Somalia. Well, this ship is still in the hands of the pirates. Since then, at least 10 attacks have taken place in this region. Well, warships from some of the world's most powerful navies like Russia, France and America have been patrolling the Somali coast around the clock. They're being outmaneuvered by this unlikely enemy. In contrast, the pirates have very simple boats that could have been used for a day's fishing catch. Well, in the first 9 months of this year, 114 piracy incidents have been reported worldwide, and more than 50% happened near the African coast. Well, Yemen bears the brunt of the responsibility for the Gulf of Aden. Its foreign minister says growing piracy in the Horn of Africa is an indication of the failure of the international community.
The situation in Somalia is going to get worse if we don't really address the stability of Somalia and resolve the political issues in Somalia. We are trying just to alert the countries that deploy their military vessels, naval vessels in the Gulf of Aden and in the Arab Sea, that this is not going to resolve the issue. They are wasting money, which can be best spent in other ways to restore peace and order in Somalia. Our concern is that with the presence of all these forces, everybody may have or some of them may have an agenda. And this agenda may affect the stability of our region as a whole, not only in the Horn of Africa.
We're still joined by our guests in Southampton, Graham Gibbon-Brooks, in London, Mohamed Gur, and in Nairobi, Awad Ashare. Thank you all for joining us. If I could start with Graham, how can a ship big enough to carry a quarter of Saudi Arabia's daily oil exports get hijacked in an area that's heavily patrolled by international naval forces?
Well, I think we ought to debunk the myth. Essentially, in the area you have 7 ships of the NATO task force. The coalition task force has a further 7 ships. We've a 3-ship Russian formation, some French, Malaysians, Indians, Pakistani ships patrolling the area. But the area is 2.5 million square miles in size, and so you can only ever do so much. That there will never be enough warships in the area to effectively patrol the whole coastline.
So effectively, pirates have a free ride in the area, is what you're telling me?
No, they don't have a free ride, but essentially what we're seeing is the manifestation of piracy at sea is reflects what is going on ashore. There is a very weak security infrastructure ashore in Somalia, and so the threat can come from pretty much anywhere along the
explain this to me, Graham.
Coastline.
Aside of like stopping acts of piracy before they happen, when ships are captured, apparently 14 ships are still being held. Apparently navies are talking about the motherships. They know where they are. How can you continue to hold ships that everybody apparently knows where they are and where their motherships are?
Yeah, there are 2 issues here, but they boil down to one constraint, which is rules of engagement and the sanctity and safety of life. Essentially, they know where motor vessel Finer is, the Ukrainian vessel with the tanks on board. They know where this very large crude carrier is, but until there is a demonstrable threat to life, there is no justification for sending troops on board to free the ships by force. Actually, what we're seeing here is a standoff. It would hazard life more to send an assault in than it would to let the hijack run its course.
All right, I'd like to turn to Awad now. I know you wanted to get a word in earlier. Looking at this scenario, piracy is on the rise, Ethiopian troops withdrawing, Islamist fighters are in control of most of Somalia, not your government. really the international effort to turn Somalia into a country that plays ball with the international current order, has that failed?
I will feel that the international family has neglected Somalia, because why pirates became into existence, because there were those nations whom you are telling me they are prevailing in the seas of Somalia. They were illegally fishing and dumping toxic wastes, and that led to the pirates try to chase away those ships which were illegally fishing in Somalia and destroying the habitat of marine resources of Somalia. There are two things that are in stake now. The Western trade along that area now in stake, and it's likely even they can capture these pirates, sea pirates, ships carrying nuclear wastes or nuclear arms that will endanger the whole world. Now I feel that the world has neglected Somalia. In order to get rid of these sea pirates, we need the support of the international community to support the administration of Puntland and provide the necessary apparatus and mechanism and law enforcing bodies that can try these sea pirates in Bhutan itself. And second thing is the neighboring countries which are having a neighborhood boundaries with Somalia at the sea, they must come together and address this issue, and they will not let other nations who are other agenda to come to Somalia sea waters. Now I see the Americans are there, French is there, the Danish are there, the Germany are there. Now people are dying the high seas who are coming out from Somalia, and they are not caring of these people also. Now I see that Somalia has been elected and has been given the chance to the extremism and piracy forces to operate in Somalia. Right. While they are caring for now in Congo, they are sending 17,000 at present, because Congo is having minerals.
Good point. If I may jump in there, Mahmoud, the point being made there is practically everybody is behaving like a pirate at this point, from Western navies to Somalia's neighboring countries.
Well, yes, the piracy has increased. If you remember back in 2006, when the Islamic courts seized power in the south, piracy has been almost eradicated. Now piracy is flourishing. Why? Because there is no government in Somalia, and the international community, we cannot blame the international community for the failure of what is happening in Somalia. The international community actually...
Howard made there, if I may interrupt, he's basically saying that the international community, Western navies, are behaving like pirates because they're hijacking, as well as Somalia's neighbours, all are just looking out for their own interests. There is no real international effort.
The naval forces in the Somali seas and also the Indian Ocean are trying to protect the interests of their countries. Basically, we can understand that. But here, the reality is that unless Somalia become a viable Somali government is formed, piracy will be with us for a long time to come. But the international community itself is guilty of protecting an infamous government for 4 years and wasting lots of resources and time on a government that has no popularity in Somalia. So now I think we need the international community to stop the trial and error process, which they always try on Somalia, and look the Somali problem carefully and genuinely to have some sort of settlement in Somalia. I don't think we need this corrupt 270 clannish parliament. It has to be disassembled. We need a lean technocrat government that takes the country out of the current mess, which cannot be part of this current crew, which is wrecking the country. Right. As you know, yeah.
All right, I'm afraid we have to end it there because we are running out of time. Graham Gibbon-Brooks from the Dyad Maritime Intelligence Services, Mahmoud Gur from the Somali Concern Group, and Awad Ashara, a Somali MP. Thank you all for joining us here in this edition of Inside Story, and thank you for joining us on this episode too. As always, we welcome your comments and suggestions. Feel free to email them to us at insidestory@aljazeera.net. For now, it's goodbye.